Hello. How you doing today? I'm doing all right. Um, yeah. So today we're snacking on carrots. Today we're snacking on carrots and drinking coffee. But more importantly, I want to talk about rumination and how important it is to sort of understand it, not not obsess over it, not become a ruminator, not create these ruminations in your head. So for me, what is ruminating to me? Ruminating is when I sit down and something happens to me throughout the day. I'm gonna use an example here. I don't want to use a personal example right now, but I had a thing. I had a little thing with my current with my girlfriend of 2 days. So where she was about to get into something that is a personal, huge, huge insecurity of mine, right? It's related to intelligence. I do not like to be considered unintelligent. It is my biggest insecurity. Anyone who says it, it's on site. I do not care. I have the biggest insecurity over my intelligence. For many reasons, that is. At a young age, I was instilled that intelligence is super important. My performance in school is kind of a self worth thing. I've created that established for myself. And then when you get bad grades, when that's your established belief, you're basically saying you're worthless. And so someone else confirming that for you is a huge problem. Now, she didn't do it. She's amazing. She did not do that. I promptly I looked at her and I said, please don't do that. And she immediately stopped. And in my head, there was this discussion going on between an imaginary reality where she did say that and myself. So I'm now creating this dialogue between myself and her, which isn't real, never happened, never even, like, could not happen. Like, just didn't. Just first off, did not happen. And I'm creating this antagonistic view of someone doing something that never even happened. And it never would. And if it would, then that's an issue for another day. But I'm getting upset about it. And I'm looking at myself and I'm like, you're upset over something that didn't happen and something that, frankly, she wouldn't do because she said she wouldn't and she proved that. And, I couldn't help but to sit there and look at myself and, like, feel bad about myself when she didn't even say anything about my intelligence. And it's crazy what ruminating does to you and yourself. And now it's like there are things that I was planning to do today that I didn't do. I was having a productive morning, but I was planning to go to, a career fair, but I looked at myself and I was like, there's no way I'm going to go. I'm not going to get a job. There's no point. I'm too stupid, I guess. That's what I was thinking, which isn't true. There's facts to say that I'm not going to get a job, but still going is good practice. And I've convinced myself now that I'm lesser because of something that didn't happen and something that only happened in my head. Which, when you frame it like that, is really stupid. It's really silly and really dumb. So, that's what's happened today. And because of that, I feel a little bit more worthless than I have before. So, to counteract that, I've decided that I'm starting a successes and failures list because I've realized that the more that I don't have something to look at, the more I just default to the negative. And like when it comes to myself, that's a huge problem. But the rule with it is anytime I do something that I think is a success, anytime I do something that I'm proud of, anytime I do something that's like mildly a showing of good character or a good human being or anything like that, I have to write it down in the successes. I have to. Anytime it's a failure, it's the same rule. Anytime I feel like a failure, I have to write it in the failure jar. What I think this will do, what my theory is that the failures will look a lot. They might look a lot more because I'm just not gonna consider things successes, but I'm gonna try to make them successes. The failures might look like more, but looking at my list of things now, it's crazy because the successes are things that take months and months and years of work, and the failures are things that took a couple weeks. And based on that logic, you could place a higher value on my successes than my failures, which means that I'm not. It'd be hard to call me a failure in my book, at least, because I don't want to call myself a failure. I'm biased. Sorry. I like me. Kind of. We're working on it. But, anyways, like, there's this. It's such a hard task to, like, look at myself and say, man, you're really gonna not think about this, or you're really gonna like I can intellectualize things very well, but if I'm intellectualizing, I'm not feeling, and if I'm feeling, then intellectualizing feels useless. So it's like I don't know, and I mean, I'm creating these fake worlds where things happen. I've done this with my parents too, and I think this can be good too. But when you start sitting down and creating these false realities where something didn't happen, a conversation was never happened, a thing just didn't exist, and you're making it exist in your mind only, and you're gonna feel bad about that. You have this power, this immense power to make yourself feel so amazing by just thinking about things. Like, I could have turned that conversation into a situation where she was saying that I was one of the smartest people she's ever met. I could have said that. I've heard from friends that she thinks I'm intelligent. She didn't. I mean, she's told me before, but again, like, am I really gonna listen to someone if they tell it to me straight up and they're complimenting me directly? No, my brain tries to stop that. Like, it's defense mechanisms. But I don't think she thinks I'm stupid logically, and my mind can tell me that she does because she's so intelligent too. But I'm just it's this pattern that I don't want anyone to go through, including you, and I'm talking to you. Um, I want it to be. It's so strong, the mind and the imagination. I want to use the word imagination as the key term here. That I could have easily made myself feel so good about myself by just imagining that she thought I was smart, and my brain decided that it was much easier to decide that she thought I was stupid, and so I felt like shit for 3 hours. And when she called me, I was kind of like, "K, yeah, sure, yeah," like crazy. That's my stance on rumination. Like I mentioned before, um, we're now pursuing the self improvement track of women, heavily because there's a girl and she's amazing. Um, yeah, we're working hard. We're working hard, hardly working. School's okay, life. Carrot. Alright. I'll see you later. Love you. Do good things.